if nothing else, these recent commits are going to test the spelling and
Right.
pronunciation and enunciation skills of the Florida State faithful. For 2023, we got wide receiver Quindarrius Jones, who commits to Florida State as well. No rankings or ratings on him uh, at 247 right now. But Logan, what have you picked up on Quindarius?
Guy was size. We got to see him at the elite camp that Florida State held, um, and he was holding on to a lot of the wide receivers there, including a few current Florida State commits at the wide receiver position. I think the biggest thing here at Florida State's looking at the size, athleticism, the length. You can put him down at corner. You can put him down at safety. This is kind of a versatile kind of athlete that fits the mold of what Florida State likes to do in their defensive backfield. If they're going to go after a guy early, why not fit a guy that can fit both of those positions? And I thought he impressed us whenever we were able to see him in person. I think the biggest thing is just athleticism and length. There's a lot of physical attributes that I think the staff likes. Want to see more game from him. I'm not going to say this was definitely a big time grab or a secret steal of anything, but I do think there's definitely some high upside with a very high ceiling that Florida State is pursuing early on that can make them look really smart later on. So this is one that Mike Norvell does this. He's done it with tight ends too in the past. He'll take some risks on some guys that maybe aren't rated or guys that haven't gotten a lot of publicity in the recruiting at the point in time that they're at, and they'll go out and risk it. And you got to trust Marcus Woodson and Adam Fuller and what they want to do on the defensive side of the ball, definitely in that backfield. But the skill set, the skill, and maybe just more the physical attributes, I think is what the staff is liking out of him, and they think that he can develop into something special. So, they feel really highly about him. They feel really highly.
Yeah, and I mean, he's a taller guy, 6'2". You're talking about somebody where now. My question for you, Logan, is you mentioned he's coming in as an athlete, and you mentioned the secondary position at 6'2". To me, athlete also insinuates offensive side of the ball. Do you see him just solely focusing on defense, or do you think, with him being a little bit of a taller target, that you could see him getting some run at wide receiver?
I think right now they're going to want to stick him still at the safety corner, mainly DB spot. We'll see. That's the one thing that Florida State is doing now, and this is true on what Norvell is and his recruiting class. He does this. A lot of guys that can play both ways or play multiple positions. It's all over Florida State's roster right now, and I don't think it used to really be that way. They used to be one-way guys, but now you got guys that can run in double situation, either offensively, defensively, but primarily definitely on one side of the ball. They can play multiple position groups, but specifically, I think they're going to want to stay here and keep him at the safety position. But you got to like what he's got size-wise early on and his recruitment. But he had impressed us at that elite prospect camp when we were there a couple weekends ago, and was really, really on par with covering some of the guys like. Really, Florida State's wide receiver who's really stood out to us was Quindarrius Jones, a current FSU wide receiver. Covered him well, and that probably caught some eyes from the Florida State staff and landed him, grabbing the offer, and then eventually deciding to go with Florida State.
So they threw me a curveball there at on three. On three, blamed them for the designation of wide receiver. So people correcting me in the live chat, I posted the banner based on the 2022 or 23 commitment list for on three as Quindarrius Jones, wide receiver. There you go.
Lo Ciento to the fans.
Let's get it right over there on three. Let's get it together.
There's no game day. Let me tell you that much.
No, God.
Absolutely not.
Oh my goodness. They might have a lot of more money back in them though. They seem to have some pretty good success, but yeah, no, this guy is DB. Yeah, give us a couple more years.